So we're going to give an extra special, huge round of applause to, last name is Bains. Bains. Are you here, Bains? There she is. We know you.
Lover of Moana, that's us. So I'm the type of person who believes in following the rules. Like as a teenager, I was the kid who, if I was going to the party, my friends could go to the party because their parents knew that I was there and we would all follow the rules together. I was that kid. So fast forward, and I have two kids of my own, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and we are lucky enough as a family to go to Paris, France, for spring break. And we decide on this trip to go to the Palace of Versailles. Now, if you know anything about Paris, Versailles is not in Paris. You have to take like a bus or a train, and it's about an hour or so to get there. So if you decide to go, you're in it for the day. So my family and I get on the train, and we show up at this stop, and you kind of have to like walk to the palace, and we're walking up there, and there's this huge cobblestone courtyard and like a big wrought iron fence around this courtyard, and then the palace is behind it, and it's gorgeous and it's humongous. But within that courtyard is this gigantic snaking line of people. And this isn't like a line at Disneyland. There are no, ropes to guide you along the way. There are no turnstiles. There's no shelter from the sun that's beating down on you in, the hot, hot summer. And there's no movies playing. Moana is not playing for you while you stand in line and watch. That's a shout out to my man. Okay. So we stand and wait like civilized people. And sometimes you hear these things like, hey, off into the distance, and you don't know what it is because you're at the end of the line, and it's off at the front of the line. So as we go along, there's this woman and a group of people with her who kind of like bulge into the line right by us. And all the people around us are like, hey, you cut the line, get out of line. And so I start to learn what this eruption is, and everybody gets mad, and we like take this group of people who have cut in front of us and just walk around them. So they like stay in the same spot for the rest of the day and never get to move forward. So my family and I and my 10-year-old and 8-year-old are pretty much dying at this point. Like we've played that slap hand game like 100 times, It's not working anymore. No one cares about the palace, perhaps. And we're at the front and at the turnstile, and this gentleman and his girlfriend cut right in front of the two people in front of us. And I see it, and I'm like, it's up to us now. Like, hey, shame this person, they have to go to the back. But it's right at the front that no one really notices. And so there are these two students in front of our family, and I tap the students on the shoulder. I'm like, hey, did that guy just cut the line? And don't forget, we're in France, and I'm a manic New Jersey person. And the two students turn around, who are clearly not English speakers, and they look at me, and I look at them, and we all know that man cut the line, but I must take it into my hands, the rule follower. And so I reach ever so gently through the two students, and I tap this gentleman on the shoulder, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, you cut the line. The line starts 2.5 hours behind you. And he looks at me, he slowly turns, and he looks at me and he says, did you just touch me? And so I know it's not gonna go well. And I say, sir, you just cut the line, you're a bad person. And he looks at me after I say that, and he says, sir, you may not touch me. That's right, that misogynist, just called me sir. So, it's at this point that I am enraged, and my family is behind me, but I can kind of tell that they're not with me. Because we're at like security in Paris in Versailles, and I turn around and I look at my two small 10 and 8-year-olds, and I look at my husband, and my husband is just going like this. And I'm like, and I look at my son, and he goes, Mommy, you're mad. And my daughter says, Mommy, you're yelling. And it's at this point that I turn back around and I see the line cutter misogynist dude go through the turnstile, through security, and he's off into the palace without repercussions or consequences. And I feel my body get hot and the emotions soar, and I start to cry at the front of the line of Versailles, I know. And so at this point, I am going through the turnstiles with my family. I'm trying to compose myself, and it's packed. I don't know if you've ever been to Versailles, but there's no place to go, but it's just packed. And I've totally surrendered to the moment. And it's at this point that we're in the second room or whatever. I don't care. And I hear a very familiar voice, and I hear, "Sir, sir, 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 sir." And I look to the right. And I see my husband, who has our day pack on for the day, and he is ever so gently pinning the line cutter to the wall of the palace. And so I was like, that's my prince. And so while my family may not, want to follow the rules as much as I do, they sure as hell are not going to let some line cutter misogynist allow their mom to cry. Thank you.